create our own reality and our own definition of balance.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And I think that that's another thing we're starting to realize is balance doesn't have to mean on an everyday basis or every week basis. Sometimes it's the seasons. So I
Yeah.
think that that's why the idea of like having the grind seasons and then having a whole month off is probably going to be more realistic for us because we have our busy seasons like with when lit is going on, Black History Month, like those are busy seasons, so it's
Yeah.
going to be harder to incorporate balance during those times. But if that's why Black History Month is going to be it typically is a very busy month for us,
Yep.
so that's why the month
March.
right after March we off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably going to be how we kind of address that balance, especially once we have kids and it gets a little bit harder.
Yeah. Welcome, Melanated Married Millionaires in the making and friends, to another impactful episode. We're about to go through and highlight a melanated married couple or just go through some lessons that we got. Make sure y'all tap in with the conversation. Queen, where can they go to tap in?
TheeM4Show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Queen, where can they follow us on Instagram?
The M4 Show.
Now, if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, it would make the Queen very, very happy. If you can go ahead. Very? What should they do?
You should go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
It's free and your first step to becoming a millionaire. Go ahead and click that button. And let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
So before we even get into today's episode, I gotta apologize to anybody whose first episode was 131. This is the episode where I was in Ghana.
Were you editing that?
I was editing that one. I was like, man, that guy, he looks tired. That guy right there, whoa, he looks tired. I still put it out there because, I'm not a perfectionist, so still putting it out there. But if that was your first M4 episode that you watched, maybe not listen to because you got to listen to the angelic voice of the Queen for most of it. I just wanted to, apologize and say thank you for coming back to the M4 show. I do have energy.
Another chance.
Yeah, I do have energy for the most part. But my name is Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, co-host of the M4 show, Melanated Married Millionaires in the making. And of course, I have my beautiful, my intelligent, my gorgeous, my smiling Queen. Please introduce yourself.
What is up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. I'm happy to be joining you today.
And I'm happy to have you. And reflecting on the last episode that we had the Powells on here, and something that came up was like on social media, on the gram, on your podcast, y'all always seem so together. You always seem so happy. Is that really the case? Is that really what's going on? Or is there something else behind the screen, behind the sheets? And, we went through some of our things, but I think hearing that made us realize that we need to possibly do a better job at like showing the other sides of the relationship, because we never know who's watching, who's listening, what type of influence that we were having on a new married couple or an old married couple, and they may be looking at us like, oh, they got it all together, how come we're not like them? But it's like, no, we still have debates, right? We still have arguments, we still have disagreements. We've gotten better at coming to a nice compromise over the years. But there are still some humps in the road, some mountains and valleys inside of the journey. So we're gonna get into it a little bit today. We're gonna go over they're not really top 5, but they're like 5 things that we still kind of disagree on a little bit. We'll do some live, hopefully no fist pounding.
Headbutting, fist pounding.
Hey, we'll do some live debating, some live back and forth. And y'all can definitely help us come to a conclusion on maybe some of these. Definitely make sure you put the comments and your votes inside of the chatter inside the comments. But Queen, before we get officially into today's episode, can you please hit the beautiful people with the did you know?
Yes, I can. So later on,
you don't ever need to do the deep voice again. That was
just trying to get on your level.
It's okay. I have a beard. You don't need a beard. You're beautiful just the way you are.
Thank you.
Of course.
Did you know that eating carbs by themselves can actually increase fat storage on your body? So what I mean by that is, I'm eating carbs and sugar. As I said, add sugar onto that as well, because it's all going to be broken down into glucose in the body. I'm a sweet tooth. I love sweets. I also love carbs. I do. So over the years, through my own research and trying things out, I found out that there's a couple things that you can do to decrease your body wanting to take those carbs and store it as fat. So there's a couple things. Let's say you want to eat a cookie, right? Let's say you have a cookie and you're just like, I really just, I know I shouldn't, but I want to eat this cookie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you a few things, a few little hacks you can do to actually decrease your glycemic response, which means how high your blood sugar spikes when you eat that cookie. Okay. First of all, you can start off by drinking a 8-ounce glass of water with a little bit of vinegar in it. So what that's going to do is, again, prep your body for that carbs, and it actually what's the word I'm looking for? Leads to a more stable glucose response. So that's hack number 1. Number 2, add in some protein or fat with the cookie. So instead of just eating the cookie, maybe you eat the cookie with some almonds and some coconut whipped cream, or I try to stay away from the dairy, or some yogurts or something on top. Okay, that can also help. And the third hack is to actually eat it after your meal as true dessert, rather than like a snack midday. Because after you've eaten your dinner, if you think about like your digestive system as like a sink, it's already gone through all of the other carbs and everything else. So the cookie is not going to be the first thing to hit your gut or your blood sugar anymore. It's going to be like the last thing. So your body's already been digesting food. The glucose response is going to be a lot lower than it is if at 3 p.m. you haven't eaten since lunch and you just eat the cookie. You're going to see a huge spike. So those are 3 hacks. A glass of vinegar water, eat protein and fat with the cookie, and eat the cookie after a meal as dessert. That can help your body not have so much fat storage occur from eating that cookie.
There we go. We hope you take that nugget and you use that nugget, right? Another thing that there are 3 of is there are 3 different types of intellectual property. Terrible segue, but we're getting into it. Right, there's copyright, there's trademark, and there are patents. And if you need help with any one of those 3 intellectual properties, you can go to our small business sponsor of the day, Bracken's Law Partnership. All right, so you can go to brackenslaw.com. Let me see, throw that up there. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Hopefully it's brackenslaw.com, and make sure you get all your law needs, specifically when intellectual property comes to mind. Right, when you think of, you have a amazing idea, you have amazing trademark that you want to do, you have a concept of a unique use case for a product, and you want to put it out there in the world, you want to make sure that nobody copies it, you want to make sure you get your patent, you just got a beautiful book written, it's published, it's out there, it's amazing, it's changing lives in the health industry, in the business industry. You want to make sure you have your copyright, right? So please, Queen, with your amazing eyes, read the mission for Bracken's Law.
Bracken's Law PC is an intellectual property and asset protection firm focused on helping business owners, creatives, and startups both grow and protect their wealth and assets.
Come on.
Very important. As you grow your assets, you got to protect them, because we got some shady people out here.
Yeah, very, very much so. So let's put the website on there so I can get it right. Queen.
Bracken's, www.brackenslaw.com. That is BRACKINS law.com.
There it is. Protect your assets, protect your ideas. Now, today, again, we're going over 5 disagreements, 5. Well, what else would we call these
5
things?
We do not agree on.
5 things we just do not agree on over the years. They repeatedly come up. And maybe we'll get some closure today. I doubt it, because we're not going to be here for 8 hours talking about these things. But Queen, are you ready? Oh, it's getting serious.
I'm ready.
It's getting serious. Okay, yeah. If y'all are listening, she just did a whole neck crack, chest pump.
I gotta get ready, because you are a great debater, and you literally love to do this. I don't. So I gotta really prepare to come with the fire.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at them4show.com, our Instagram at them4show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. All right, we're back. And, by default, since Sinclair is not here currently, she's going to lose on the first. I'm just kidding. But something that we do is, in order to save a little bit of time, is we always, at this point, almost every time we get groceries, almost every time we're ordering, what's it called? Instacart. It gets delivered. They put it by the door. But today we're about to have some steak from filet mignon. If y'all don't remember, last time I made filet mignon, it was clearly fire. It was clearly delicious. And now Sinclair's going to take that recipe, take those nuggets, and she's going to try to cook it as well. So we're going to have a nice little brunch after this. So Queen, thank you for going to get those groceries for us. Now, I think in marriage, you always need to learn how to come to a good compromise. And I think sometimes in arguments, in debates, or in things, period, it's always so like either you win or you lose. Mm-hmm. And that's how we grow up. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose. And I think when you get into a relationship, when you get into a marriage, you need to come to a nice mutual understanding where there's times where you win, there's times that you lose, and there's times where the relationship needs to win, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where the art of compromise comes in, the art of finding a middle ground. Now, I say all that to say we're not the best at always coming to the middle ground.
We attempt.
We do attempt, though. So we're going to go through these 5. You're going to be able to kind of experience the back and forth. And then again, y'all put your votes in. So we'll start off light, Queen. Start off real light. For some reason, you want a dog.
I want 2 dogs.
Golly, you want 2 dogs. Why? And I don't like animals.
Okay, well, I have grown up. Mm-hmm. Typically with
we should do a timer for each of these things. I think it can go. How much time? Either Jair or Sinclair. How much time?
Is it like per person or in total on this thing? This is how long we're spending on this.
Ooh, let's do per person each topic. All right, so let's do 2 minutes tops. Yeah. 2 minutes tops each, and then we can have like maybe a minute rebuttal.
Okay.
All right, so dog, you're on.
Why I want 2 dogs. Okay, so growing up, we always had, I don't say we always had a dog, but we did have a few dogs throughout my childhood. And it was just always nice to have like that 5th member of the family. They do serve as like protection for like your backyard because they're very territorial. So, they bark when anybody comes to the door or to the backyard. So I think it does serve security purposes, which I know is a reason that you have agreed to at least one bigger dog. That's fine. I also like smaller dogs. I grew up I've had like 3 or 4 different Jack Russell Terriers throughout my life. They're just so cute. They're so active. They gives the kid something to do. Like, yeah, go take the dog for a walk. Go pick up the dog poop, right? Go play with the dog. Gives kids something to do. They're cute. They cuddly. I mean, like, who doesn't like dogs?
I don't.
I have a minute left. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's just, they're adorable. But honestly, and I don't even like really try to push this because I know Devon is absolutely against this idea. What I really want is a wiener dog. I think they're called Dachshunds.
Negative.
They're so cute. I'm not into like the Chihuahuas. Like those are a little too small, but I would just love a little wiener dog. Oh, they're really cute. I like small dogs because I like to cuddle with them. Okay. Cuddling with a big dog. Like my thing with big dogs is just like at any moment they could turn and turn on you. Now, unlikely to happen. But at any moment, I just don't like them like jumping on you. It's like all I can do is like push you off of me, but you really could probably bulldoze me onto the ground if you wanted. So that's why I would like a large dog or a medium-sized dog to satisfy Devon and make sure that our yard is secure, and a small dog for me to cuddle with. Yield.
Your time is up, Sinclair.
I yield.
Your time is up. You don't need to yield. Your time is up.
I yield.
So I feel like a lot of the things that you said you want a dog for, humans could do.
Okay, so you want another child? Like,
we already talking about having 5 kids. You were like, oh, the dog can be the 5th person. The dog will be the 8th thing in this household. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
Sorry, this is
right. Number 2, I don't like dogs or animals, period. They just seem a little insensitive to my own space. I just feel like you tell a dog, hey, stop, get off me, and they're just like, let's play.
It's like, what?
Yeah, it's just like, look, I'm not trying to do this right now. So that's another thing. I don't mind, and this is maybe the compromise that we've come up with. We kind of go back and forth still. I don't mind possibly one medium to big dog for the purpose of security, because I do like that. We have our children have the backyard. I like the opportunity of being able to have a dog back there who, if someone comes back there, they go be like, dang, I made a mistake. If you have a wiener dog in your backyard, no one's turning around. They're going to proceed with the mission.
But they bark.
I still have 40 seconds. I don't know what's going on. If I hear a wiener dog, I'm not turning around. That's a punt kick away from me completing this mission.
You say a punt kick? Did y'all hear this?
I'm stepping into the mind of a criminal who is entering into a backyard to profit for their own family. A wiener dog's not going to stop me. Now, if we get a medium-sized dog, a German Shepherd, Rottweiler, something mixed, I still have 10 seconds. Again, where's the refs? Jair, where are the referees in these debates? But yeah, that's my thing. I don't want a small dog. That's just an extra mouth to feed. You see how serious she is with the cutoff time, though. But I feel like, so the compromise that we have come to in the dog, Sinclair, is what in your mind? All right, we're gonna get back to the episode in a second, but breathe. If you've ever had a brilliant idea, I'm pretty sure everybody just took a breath right there, right? Because we all have amazing ideas. But I got a question for you. What's stopping you from taking that idea and actually making it into a business, actually executing on your brilliance? My name is Devon Truvel, and in 2018, I was able to create, market, and sell my own product while still working a 9-to-5. And through the years, I've taken the lessons we've learned, the expensive webinars that I've gone to, and the dozens of business books that I've read, and I've discovered 7 simple steps to launch your business. If you're ready to take your business idea to the next level and make it real and start making profit from your passion, head to www.launchitcommunity.com and grab yourself the book. We've been able to make it very simple, affordable, and easier than ever to start that business while still working your 9-to-5. And we take entrepreneurs every single Friday and we talk to them. We teach them about how to use social media. We teach them about how to set up their Instagram account, how to use Shopify, how to use Printful, and other tools that can help you take your business to the next level, but not take tons of time away from your 9-to-5 and your busy life that you already have. So if you're ready to take that idea to the next level, make sure you head to www.launchitcommunity.com, get yourself a book, and join our free accountability calls. Now, let's get back to the episode.
It was a medium-sized dog that we have from puppy. That's my thing, is like, if we're going to get a big dog, I want to be able to cultivate that relationship from the time that it's a puppy. Once it's big, I'm already kind of like, but I feel like I love puppies. I love small dogs. So I feel like if I can build that relationship, build that bond while it's small, then even when it gets bigger, we can still have an understanding, So that's the compromise. I believe we said a Labrador
something mix.
Was it a Labrador? It wasn't a Labrador Retriever.
Maybe, yeah. I'm okay with the Lab Retriever mix.
Okay.
Again, keep in mind, And
Labrador. No.
keep in mind, I don't want any dogs. She wants a small dog. So the compromise that we came to was, okay, let's get a medium-sized dog that's functional. So we were both kind of winning. She gets the small dog when it's small and it's a nice little puppy. Oh, it's so
Then
cute.
only
Oh my
lasts a
God.
couple of months and then it's big. And after that, what, I lose after that? No, then we need to get another small dog so I can continue to cuddle.
No. And this is where we're still splitting because I don't want a dog at all. Right. So us getting a dog is already the compromise. It doesn't make sense for us to, oh, Devon wanted a medium-sized dog. False. I didn't want any dog. We're getting a dog because you would like a dog. And then when it gets big, it's now a functional dog. That doesn't mean now we get a second small dog. So now I'm losing twice.
I'm going to be very honest. Where I have come to handle this situation in my 27 seconds here.
You know, this isn't all your 27 seconds. We split in this 27 seconds.
I'm going to wait until we have children. I'm going to get them on my side, and we will then just get the dog. We will overrule.
What if the kids don't want a dog? So you're just I'm gonna train the kids just like you're training the kids apparently.
So we're gonna have 5. So it's all about that one. Who gets that one deciding child?
Woo. All right, that is time on topic number 1. Place your votes, ladies, gentlemen, and people inside of the chat. Should we get a dog? Should we not get any dog? Do we get a medium-sized dog? What is
I like how you didn't put that as an option.
No, that is not an option. But what is the vote? Now, that was the warm-up. All right, nice and fun, nice and light. It's a dog, right? Whether we get a dog, we don't get a dog, it's really not going to impact our relationship too much, I don't think. Number two. What was? I ain't got time for it, Sinclair. I don't got time for it. Number 2, and we have like kind of 2 levels to this, right? But the general topic is going to be kids first, and then the second topic, within the same 2 minutes, Sinclair, is should the kids have to work for the business? Okay, so first step, kids. How many kids are going to be in this beautiful family? And then second step, do they have to work for the business? Your 2 minutes is starting now.
I feel like the kids we've now come around. I started out saying 2 kids, 3 max.
And this started when?
I don't know when we started dating. I don't know.
I'll give people context.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like when we started dating, 11 years ago at this point. Over the time, I started out saying like 2. I have me and my brother, so I grew up with 2 siblings. So I said 2, 3 max. Over the years, Devon has, kind of, we've talked it through, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like the idea of the big family. So I've come around to the idea of 5 children. So that's that. Now, should they have to work for the business? I do not think they should have to work for the business, but I think that we should be cultivating an environment. We should be really teaching them that they should want to basically work for the business. Like in my mind, we should be planting those seeds early on and showing them the benefits of working for your own business, right? So that they want to choose to work for the business. But I just don't agree with forcing anybody to work for the business. And I know Devon is kind of like, well, whatever they want to do, we can fit it in the business. And I'm here for that too. Like if it can fit in the business, but at the end of the day, if one of our kids decides that they want to go work for Google instead of working for us, I'm not like, I would not feel like I need to go force that child to work for our company. I feel like that can start to create resentment for us from the child. And I don't want that. I want them to always be able to come to us. So yeah, that's just, maybe watch too many movies about this plot line, but I just feel like it ends up causing a lot of headbutting with the parents if they're trying to like force their own beliefs or whatever on the child.
Very well said, Sinclair. I do just want to point out how patient I was during your.
I apologize. I'm going to be nice and quiet over here.
Yes, it was your time, Queen, and I didn't want to infringe, on your time. Before I get into my time, I do want to point out this amazing. I don't know if it's amazing because I can't see it, but we do have a comment here. Do you mind doing your amazing eye thing, please?
comprises maybe compromise medium functional dog as a puppy.
I knew it was amazing. I can just feel it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. See, medium-sized puppy. I got one vote. Keep the votes coming in. We'll keep stacking it. So far, it's 1-0.
I mean, isn't that how is that? You viewed one that would have been no dog. They said we should get a dog.
Okay, wow, that's still better than 2 dogs. Okay, and it's better than a small dog because they could have said a small dog.
I thought that was supposed to be a handshake, but okay, that works.
Mm-hmm. All right, my 2 minutes. So first off, I definitely do want. You're funny. First off, I definitely do want 5 kids, and I've been pretty adamant on that since I've been like 8. Right, like since I was a kid, I've wanted a big family. I used to love going to the family reunions as a kid, whether it was in Texas, whether it was in Alabama, like it's just California, very good times. And then as I'm growing up, I also feel like having a beautiful, strong, wealthy, intelligent Black family is just the most revolutionary thing that you can do because there's so many things, so many barriers, so many systems that are stopping that from happening. So if we can build like this, we're already beautiful as 1, 2. When we have the 5 little babies running around and they grow up and then they grow up healthy, they grow up with a sense of self-love and self-confidence and knowledge of self, like this is a beautiful thing. So I want 5. Should they work for the business? 100%. I think it should be mandatory. Is school or education going to be mandatory? Yes. Do some kids resent their parents? Oh, you made me go to middle school. You made me go to high school. Yes. But at the end of the day, they know that working or going to that school is going to make you a better person and give you the future that you need. Our business is going to do the same thing. 200 years ago, there was no choice. If you were born in this house, you're going to work that farm. You're going to take care of those cattle. You're going to do X, Y, and Z to take care of the entire family. We don't have a farm anymore. Now we have a podcast. Now we have a board game. Now we have books, and it still should be the entire family's responsibility to grow, maintain, and take this business to the next level because the entire family is eating off of the business. So it should be mandatory. You can choose your job. There'll be several different jobs within the beautiful empire to use your creativity. But if you're living in this household, if the business is paying for you to live and accomplish your dreams, you should be putting your efforts back into the household and doing the same thing. So all the kids listening, when you are born, you will work for the business. Boom. Okay. I saw some comments coming in. Do you want to first do the 2-minute unified rebuttal, or do you want to go to these comments?
Let's do the rebuttal.
Okay. Hit me, Queen. Well, don't actually hit me. We're in the middle of a debate. No, we do not promote violence on the M4 show.
Where to start? I am all again. I'm all for like I think we're on the same page of like let's cultivate the desire to work for the family business from young.
But you're still wanting it to be a choice. I don't think it should be a choice. You should be growing up since you're 2, since you're 3, since you're 4 with the expectation and responsibility that at some point I'm going to work for the business. It doesn't even have to be all your life. Maybe that's the compromise. But I feel like this is why would you work for anyone else?
Well, okay, let's say they start, they're really into tech and they start and they're on our tech team and they're starting and they're just like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's really not for me. Like I don't really like it. Like I thought I would, like, I really would want to go work for XYZ.
Why?
You would be like, no.
I'll be like, why?
And then what's the bargaining chip? Is it the trust, the like family money that they would get cut off from if they don't work? Like what in your mind, how do you make them? How does it become mandatory?
So I don't believe in forcing people to do things out of power. I'm not gonna be like, you get no dollars. I know we've joked about that. You get cut out of the will. That's not what's gonna happen. But I feel like I want to work with them to feel like, all right, if technology is your thing and you want to go work for Google, that's fine. But the vision should be, I want to work for Google so I can learn X, Y, and Z and then bring it back to the family business. It doesn't make sense for me. Why are you taking your amazing talent, taking your wealth, and you're draining it from the family? You're doing the family a disservice by taking your talents to Google and working for them for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years and not giving anything to your family. Why? Doesn't make sense to me.
So,
you want to give it another minute?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so okay, let's paint out the scenario. You have a
Okay.
child who's like, I want to go be on Broadway in New York.
Beautiful.
Right. What's your response?
So you love to act or dance. The Broadway does a lot of stuff, but either way, we're creating an entertainment company as well. So why wouldn't you be able to take that Broadway talent? Cool, you're on Broadway, you're learning how to dance, you're learning how to sing, you're learning how to act. Now, at some point, let's bring that back here and let's perform for the family.
So you're okay if they go out, they just need to come back.
Yes, my thing is, like, if you're going to leave, why? Like, kind of like in Wakanda, right? The war dogs left Wakanda and they went out to different places all in America and they gathered information, right? The founder of, or the first president of Free Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, left Africa, left Ghana, went to America, went to London to learn information. At the end of the day, came back to his people to give it to them. Our kids can do the same thing. They can leave the household. They can work for all these amazing places, just like we did, gain the information. But in my head, the vision, the purpose should always be to come back and help build the family business.
Okay, that could be a compromise.
It's a compromise. Cool. Come on, y'all. We out here making compromises left and right. Love it. All right. Let's read some of these comments before we get into number 3.
Someone said, is it really patience if you have to mention it? Almost feels like forced quietness. When did we talk about patience?
It was when I was like, oh, you see how I didn't say anything during these 2 minutes? That was patience.
It's forced quietness.
Is it forced quietness though?
All right.
If I'm also doing it.
Next, we got children know what we teach them. If we normalize working for the fam, then that'll be that. However, there should be some freedom to explore personal interests as well. Human potential is limitless.
Yep.
Agreed. So like, okay, this opens up now. Okay, so how long can they work for somebody else before they come back to the company? Can they just retire with the company? Like, are you cool with that? Or like,
that's a great question. So if they're going to Google, they're going to Tesla, they're going to Amazon, they're going to Canon to learn a particular thing, right? You're going there for this purpose. Once you achieve that purpose, you learn that thing, come back. Now, if it's something that takes 20, 30 years to learn, which I doubt because our kids are going to be amazing geniuses, then it takes that long. If it's something that takes 3 months to learn, cool, get the information, come right back, build it up. So they should leave with a mission, with a purpose. Okay. Comments coming in. We love to see it.
There should definitely be an end game. Yeah. That I think we agree on. Like having them come back would be ideal. So that they can go, they can learn those things from whatever other company and then bring them back to the family. I'm cool with that. I've just always coming back to, so what happens if we have that child who's really not about it? Are you just gonna be mad at them their whole life? Like, how are you gonna handle that?
So, they may get the side eye at the family reunions. They may be last on the will. They'll still get something. They'll be last on the will though. They may, get the last plate at Thanksgiving. They may be the kid that I asked, hey, can you wash the dishes?
Wow.
Because we're about to have a business meeting, and I know that you're not in the family business, right? So while you have this free time, while you're on vacation from Google, go ahead and wash those dishes for us. Do stuff like that,
Oh, here we go.
some petty light.
Somebody said exile.
You are banished from the Walker Kingdom. Oh goodness! But in all seriousness, I don't think I'm going to treat them any different consciously. I think, again, for me, y'all heard my values. Like, for me, it's just like, why wouldn't you want to pour into the family? And I think that would just be a constant thing, and that's something that I'll hopefully put into our kids from a young age. Like, you should be giving your talents to your family, to the people that you love, making an impact in your community. So hopefully they'll just learn that from how we operate, from how we move, how we pour out into the community. But yeah, if there is that one beautiful, amazing child that I still love with all my heart, and they want to go work for someone else, they're still family, obviously, but they'll get a side eye.
Then you will need to make sure that they don't feel any less than the others. Right, Devon?
Yes, I will make sure that they do not feel any less than the others. But my thing is, like,
there should be no but.
It's not a but. It's not a but consciously, But you know how
it's not about consciously, but
look, the child who dances, naturally, you're not going to necessarily make the other kids feel less than, but you're going to give some more energy to the child who dances, right? Because I feel like the child, don't let the child dance, be a little bit corny, and love to cook and be healthy. That child to you is going to be like, oh my God, it's just like a mini me.
There, I wasn't sure what to do with
And
that.
I'm just trying to be authentic here. But you're going to give that child a different type of energy than you would the one who isn't like that, right? Just naturally. So I feel like the children or the child who's like, I love the family business. Someday I want to take it over and I want to do this with it. And then we're going to go to Pluto and then we're going to create Play Black Wall Street 15.0. And then like that child naturally is going to get a different level of energy just because of the frequencies, energies that they're giving me. Right. So it's not that any child is less than the others, but just how they act and the things that they do, the energy is going to be different.
Someone said, "But negates everything you said before." Thank you.
I'll start saying, however. Okay, so we're over time on that one. I think we did come to a interesting conclusion. We still don't know exactly what's going to happen if a kid says no. Long story short, they're still going to be loved. Number 3, this one is a little bit more difficult because it's like it's us, right? So this one is work-life balance
or lack thereof.
You got 2 minutes. 3, 2, 1.
So I'm very much a person that likes to try to achieve some type of work-life balance. In that we don't know how much time we have on this planet. We don't. So I am all for being in a grind season, to where we are kind of, we have those seasons where we're kind of putting our heads down and maybe not taking as many trips or maybe not, having as many like weekends off. Like we're kind of in that season. Sorry, we're kind of in that season right now. But I am a person that still likes to at any point incorporate some type of like downtime. I just think even in these very kind of difficult seasons where we're busy seasons, I'll say the grinding seasons where we're working a lot. Like, I mean, literally this entire weekend we've been working. We worked for like 6 hours yesterday, tabling at an event. We're here doing this podcast today. Tomorrow's Monday. We start the week over again. So like even this, what? Okay, never mind. This is my time. But even during this time period, right, we have the rest of the day after this. We decided to do this podcast a little bit earlier so that the rest of the day we can chill. And also like anytime we have a free weekend, I'm always like, oh, what do you want to do? And his answer is always work. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, we have a free weekend. Like, why shouldn't we should go do something? We should not work. We should, anyways, I have 30 seconds left. So that's why I am like the travel person. I like to get those vacations scheduled because I think if I don't push for us to do those things to kind of get ourselves out of that work mode, out of that grind mode, then we will just go. And he, I think, thinks that that is the best way to go about it and thinks that that is just him naturally, which it partially is. But I also think that we both will benefit from having this break so that we can live as long as possible. That was rough. It was rough. I just have so much to say into that.
I know you did. It was very well said. So my mindset is we don't know how long we have on this planet to make our impact and really achieve our dreams, right? So I feel like we have like the same why, but it causes us to do different actions. To me, it's like if I have no idea when I'm gonna go, and this happened when we got into that car accident, right, in 2017. It's a long story because we don't have enough time, but long story short, like we could have lost our life in that car accident in 2017. And right after that, it really motivated me like, oh, we need to start this board game, right? Because we could have left and the game would have never been created. And there's a long list of ideas that we both have. And in my head, if we're not actually taking action on those things, they won't come to fruition. And then the impact that those things can have won't happen. The other thing is in order to, pay for the vacations that we do, in order to pay for the lifestyle they want to do, we also need to put in that work, right? So there is a balance, but in order to even have the other side of the scale, you need to be putting in the work so that you can afford and pay for that other side of the scale. So I'm always in work mode to make sure that that next vacation we can do with no stress, that next house that we want to get, that dream house we can do, no stress. These 11 kids that we want to have who apparently don't want to work for the business, they still need to eat. They need to go to possibly college. They need to have, clothes on their back. So all that stuff we need resources for. So the work has a very direct purpose that goes towards it. Lastly, I really like, and I can't see my time. I really like, thank you, Queen. I really like the ability to think of something and put it out there into the world. Like, it's semi-therapeutic to me to have an idea that's in my head and be able to actually get it out, even if it's just like an outline, if it's just a brain dump, like that, just like, that feels good. And don't let me actually get it out into the world and start selling it, even better. Okay. So we're at our 2 minutes where we're going to do a nice little back and forth on work-life balance, see if we can come to a compromise. Queen.
So like you said, we have the same why. We have the same, like, we're trying to create this impact. We created this podcast, like we're clearly trying to create an empire that we can pass down to future generations. But then I also think about, like, the fact that I want to meet my great grandkids. And I want to make sure that I'm around for as long as possible to be able to do that.
To your great grandkids.
I want to meet my great grandparents. I want to play with my great grandkids. I never met any of my great grandparents, so that's something that I always wanted to be able to do is meet my great grandkids and be able to see that lineage pass on. You have to be pretty healthy to do that. So I want to make sure, and of course, just being health focused, I feel like that is where I tend to butt heads even within myself. Is that grind mode is not necessarily healthy because you're just always in that stressed mode. Yes, I feel like we think like stimulation and stress are not the same thing, but they to the body can very much be the same thing. So even on like the off days when we're here on the podcast, like we're very much stimulated here. And so this our bodies don't know the difference between this and a regular work day. So I feel like it's just, if we're always go, 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 we are going to burn out.
I hear you, but I think I'm coming from the mindset of, like, I used to work long hours in the sun working on a farm. That type of stress is nowhere near the stress that I feel right now sitting down talking on a podcast. It's like I feel you on, like, the work is hard, but I feel like the work isn't that hard. So some stuff that we do is very stressful. I think a lot of the work that we do inside of the office, the outlines, the creating flyers, some of the Zoom meetings, like that is work that is really a blessing for us to be able to do and actually get paid to do. Like when I get to go out and just like talk to students, and sometimes they're able to afford us. Sometimes we do pro bono stuff and it's for the free, for the love. But sometimes they actually give us that check. I'm like, I got paid to just tell our story and talk about business and help people to dream. Like, I would 100% do that for free. So yes, I think that's another thing that we are divided in, is like the work isn't stressful consciously to me. It is stimulation, but it's not like stress.
And that is where the health nerd side of me is like, it does make a difference, but it still can lead to that same burnout. Because yes, when it goes well, it's cool. But again, I'm trying not to get like super health nerdy here, but like your body's releasing cortisol regardless. And so it is that constant release of cortisol, whether it's from stimulation because you're just so excited to be talking to these kids, or because, so-and-so didn't pay us and now we got to run around world, or whatever it is. That can also release the same, cortisol response, just because it's a stressful situation. So yeah, I feel like we just need to find, and that's why sometimes I like to just go on the vacations where we do nothing and like just chill, like listen to the waves and like relax. Like, I don't know, I need a day like that every now and then, because I feel it more. I think that's another reason we kind of, I think, do this dance sometimes, is because I need the recharge more than he does. He is like a machine that can just go, 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 which again, I argue that does not have its effects, especially long term. but I definitely feel it on a more short-term basis. Like if I go this whole week, I'm about to feel this weekend tomorrow. I'm about to be like, dang, we did a lot of talking. Or I'm an introvert, so I like to have a day where I'm like not doing a lot of talking. So like I know that I'm probably going to feel a little bit drained tomorrow. And so I need to be very intentional for myself to give myself that downtime.
Yeah.
And he doesn't always need that. So I feel like that's sometimes why we do this dance. But I've kind of come to the realization where it's like, okay, especially in these early mornings, he gets up at like 6 a.m. even on the weekends. And I'm like, no, that's my time to sit in the bed and do nothing. You can go over there. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm going to just sit in the bed and recharge for a little bit before I enter the world.
Yeah. So I want to talk about real quick, 'cause I know we're already over time on this one, but we've come to kind of two compromises, and it's an ongoing thing because I am an ongoing workaholic. But there's two compromises that we come to. One is when we're on vacation, I'm allowed to do work up until, is it 10 a.m., 11 a.m.?
It was at 11 a.m. if like, unless we have something planned early in the morning.
Right. Which I think works very well because even on vacation, I'll still wake up at like 6, maybe 7 if I'm feeling, feeling like I deserve a little something. But that gives me 3 to 4 hours to put in some work to make sure that, we're engaging with customers for Play Black Wall Street to see if there's any questions on the M4 show. Just make sure that things are flowing well on vacation. Then after that, it's all vacation time. Another kind of compromise that we're trying out this year or next year for the first time is we're going to see how it goes. For the first time, we're taking an entire month off. Off. Yeah, off. Let me backtrack that.
I was gonna be like, you heard it here. You heard it here, y'all.
No. By off, I mean we'll be traveling for an entire month on work vacation, but I'll still be working in those morning times. We'll still be doing the podcast on the weekends, but we're removing hopefully ourselves from most of the stress that we feel on the more day-to-day stuff. The programs and the speaking engagements will be stopping, and we'll be traveling the world, living life, still working a little bit remotely, but yeah, so we'll see how that works. And I think that may be a thing that we do every single year is we just go ahead and unplug for a month, recharge, travel. When we have kids, it can be traveling around the US. When they're old enough and working for the company, it can be traveling internationally. The kid that doesn't want to work for the company, they'll stay at grandma and grandpa's house.
Wrong.
I'm just kidding, Kendry. But
and you speak of it on. Don't you dare speak on that on Kendry.
Oh, so Kendry's gonna work for the business?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you feel that way?
Okay, so we're running over time on this one. We have some comments, so I'm gonna go in here. Compromise actually plan for non-work enjoyment times.
Yeah.
However, create the system.
However,
create the system that accomplishes goals sooner rather than later. Okay.
Yep.
Also, if on vacation and if 5-minute biz call can move things along radically, I'm trying to make sense of this. If an appointment schedules grab lunch together, I think that means just like a 5-minute business call on vacation can be acceptable because it can move things along. I'm not mad at 5 minutes. Okay, I'm not mad at 5 minutes.
Our problem
5 minutes turns into 5 hours real quick.
That's our problem. Especially if it's a good idea and we both like the idea. Yeah. Right? Because if it's an idea that only I like and she doesn't like it, 5 to 10 minutes, I'll probably drag it to 15. Done. But if it's an idea we're both like, oh yeah, that's good. We're masterminding the whole day. Right.
We'll be let's go. Yeah, let's go do a lunch date and we'll talk about it. We'll write out our proposal.
Yeah, well, those are fun days. I love those days.
I'm sure. Recreate our own reality and our own definition of balance. Yeah. Amen to that. And I think that's another thing we're starting to realize is balance doesn't have to mean on an everyday basis or every week basis. Sometimes it's the seasons. So I think that's why the idea of like having the grind seasons and then having a whole month off is probably going to be more realistic for us because we have our busy seasons, like with Lit, when Lit is going on, Black History Month, like those are busy seasons. So it's going to be harder to incorporate balance during those times. But if that's why, Black History Month is going to be, it typically is a very busy month for us. Yep. So that's why the month right after March, we off. Yeah. So, that's probably going to be how we kind of address that balance, especially once we have kids and it gets a little bit harder. And they also like the planned work during vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the good thing about working while we're on vacation is, I mean, traveling the world, showing you all different places, being able to show that a beautiful melanated couple can be in Portugal, can be in Zanzibar, is all part of the M4 show mission. It's all part of the Play Black Wall Street mission. So that trip becomes a tax write-off and a part of the business as well.
That too.
It's a beautiful
We'll
thing.
be blogging.
Yeah, we'll be blogging, vlogging, songing, all the
Slogging,
all the
flogging.
But last one. Oh no, it's not the last one. We got two more. How we doing on time, Queen?
We're at 47 minutes.
Okay, we got to speed past these next two. This one is probably going to be the most difficult one, and this is using debt or leveraging debt in order to invest and actually create wealth. All right. So you got 2 minutes.
Can you go first this time?
We got 2 minutes. Yes, we can. I will go first. Hit it. So I am okay with leveraging debt. And to get a little bit more specific, it's not paying credit card debt as fast in order to save up liquid cash, and then leveraging that, using the credit card instead of your cash so that you can build up 20,000, 30,000, whatever in cash to then buy a real estate property and then create cash flow. Right. So I'm okay with that as long as we know we're going to buy some real estate. Right. I don't like having the uncertainty and the interest rate on the credit card the interest on the credit card keep going every single month, and we still haven't bought anything yet. So I think it is a good strategy to leverage, but I think you need to be very intentional about it, because those credit card interests can be 20% sometimes. So unless you have a zero card interest, you're paying an additional $500, which is losing that money. So in my head, you can pay off the credit card, and then now that you're not paying that anymore, you're technically like saving that extra 500 interest that you would have been paying. So and then eventually you can get the real estate. It takes a little bit more patience, but eventually you can still get it. Whereas if you're waiting to buy the real estate, you're spending the money, and then maybe you'll get the real estate. You don't know what the monthly income is going to be on that. Is it going to be more than 500? Maybe it's not. Long story short, that's kind of my stance. I'm just like, let's pay it off and keep going. I yield my time.
Okay, finished early.
Yeah.
How do I? Oops.
Don't even worry about it. I got you. Oops. 3, 2.
I'm sorry. Can it real quick before we get started? What I laughed in the middle of this
because sure
someone said, "Wait a minute, Zanzibar is a real place."
Yes, it is a real beautiful place, and we're gonna go and show you.
Yes, it's a beautiful, real island. Beautiful. That was funny.
Coast of Africa, East Africa. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so first of all, I just got to give shout out to Jamal King, because I very much have adopted his mindset of real estate, which is I understand the concept of like, yes, we have to pay off our debts, but I'm going to pay off y'all the very last, because I'm going to pay myself first, which means that's why I like to leverage, like, let's leverage the debt or let's leverage the cash we do have available to put into future investments. And once we get that monthly cash flow coming in, then I'll worry about paying y'all. But for me, even just the concept symbolically of let me pay you off first and then let me wait and delay my own wealth generation doesn't sit right with me. Like, why are we prioritizing paying off these credit card companies, and our family is now delayed in its wealth generation? So I'm very much like, okay, I got this cash now. I'm going to put it into our vision, our wealth building strategy. And then I will, once we have that return, right? Because the whole Burr method that we're working on is that we get whatever we put into it. In an ideal world, we get it back. And then we also are going to hold on to this property to get monthly cash flow. So at that point, once I get the money back, okay, now I can go put some of it towards y'all and put the rest of it towards reinvesting for the next property. But to me, it's like, I'd rather take the money once it comes back and then pay off the debt, rather than like upfront, let me go pay off the debt first and then work on saving up for the property. Because there's always going to be debt around. We've got student loans, we've got mortgages, like there's always debt. So I feel like if we are focused on paying the debt off first, we're always going to be playing catch up. So again, I'm not saying never pay stuff off, but I'm saying I feel like I like the approach of I'm going to pay the credit cards. I'm going to pay whoever is the debt is for. I'm going to pay y'all after I've paid myself.
Very well done. Very well said. So, two things about not paying the debt off. One, and not ever pay your debts, y'all.
Right.
But one is your credit score goes down, right? So by not paying the credit card in entirety, or at least getting it to a 30%
minimum. I'm sorry.
utilization.
Can I just clarify? Minimum payments. I'm talking about minimum payments.
Again, even minimum payments, right? Minimum payments usually don't really put the principal down. You're just doing interest. We know that from student loans. It's a terrible thing, right? But you want to make sure that your credit score is good. That way you can buy the house. So you have all this cash. You have $30,000 cash, 20,000, 10,000, whatever it is. But now you have a 600 or a 500 credit score. Now it's going to hurt you trying to get that house anyway.
But how is paying minimum payments going to drop your credit score all the way down to a 500 or 600?
Because you're still using the credit card. So as you're doing minimum payments, you're just doing principal, you're still swiping, so you're still buying stuff. So the
minimum payment will just also go up.
Right, but you're still only doing interest. So the principal keeps rising as you keep buying stuff. You're doing minimum payments, so the interest is being paid a little bit, but it's still going up because you're still using the card. So eventually you're going to get to 100% utilization, and you're going to have to do a lump sum, or else you're going to go past your limit. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
The second thing was I think we've come to a kind of a compromise, and I believe in, yes, get your real estate, cash flow it, but specifically if you have the plan and the strategy. What I don't like is not paying off the credit cards, getting the interest from the credit cards, and then, a year goes by, a year and a half goes by, and we still haven't utilized the cash. So, and then we just basically paid $300, $500, whatever it was, in monthly interest for an entire year at $6,000 or more, depending on how much is on there, when we could have paid it off, and now that $6,000 would have been in our pocket.
And I feel like you're talking about a very specific situation, which is that we signed the contract for a property, but that property was a part of a 60 property portfolio. And so it took like a year to close on each individual property before it got to ours. So that's not, I would say, a normal situation that folks find themselves in when they're investing in real estate. It happened to be our situation, and we had no idea how long it was going to take. So in hindsight, absolutely, it might have been a better play to pay off the credit cards, because if we would have known we had a year before we were actually going to put that down payment, then we could have saved up during that year. But I guess I'm more talking in a more conventional sense of investing in real estate. Typically, not too soon after you start looking, you're going to need that money to put down in real estate. So I don't know that it's wise in that situation to pay off your credit cards. Now you're looking for real estate and you don't actually have the cash to put down on a property. So let's say you find a good one, now you're not ready. And I feel like nobody's going to take you seriously after that, because they're going to be like, come back when you actually have the money. So I guess that's what, in our situation, it was a little bit of a unique situation where, yes, in hindsight, we probably should have just paid off the credit card so that we can build up the cash. We had time, but again, we didn't know we had time. We didn't know it was going to take a year. In another situation, it can take, if you're working with the right broker, the area, you could find something within a month. That's not going to be really enough time if you are starting from zero, to build up enough to put down for a down payment. So now you're just delaying the whole process. Or it may take you 6 months to build up, however much, $50,000 to put down an investment property. So yeah, now in that situation, you've just delayed your process by 6 months because you decided to pay the credit card off rather than saving it for the down payment.
And I guess that's where we dive, because the delay in 6 months isn't a big thing to me. Because if you delay it 6 months, but you saved $3,000 and you still have the house, you didn't lose. You're $3,000 up. Whereas if you don't pay the credit card off 6 months, you're paying $500, you're paying the interest right on it for those 6 months, and then you buy the house.
That could have been 6 months that you had a tenant in there paying you with monthly cash flow. That's right. That same $3,000 you could have made with a tenant in the property.
Depending on the property. And that's why I said it depends on the property that you're able to buy. Like if we're saving up and we're getting a 8 unit, right? We're about to get $5,000 of cash flow coming in. Then it's like, okay, that income coming in will outweigh the debt and the interest of the credit card. that is a smart investment move, in my opinion. Right? You always want to make sure you're getting the most out of your money, the highest ROI, return on investment. So in that case, I 100% agree. We should wait on the debt so that we can get this 8 unit, and then that 8 unit automatically pays off the debt and increases our cash flow. Makes sense. But because credit card interest is so high and it's at 20%, not all real estate investments will be higher than the return that you would get if you just paid off the credit card debt. Yeah, you get me on that?
Yeah, I'm thinking more long term. Like you have a property for the rest of your life. So I'm like, that's what I'm thinking about. This seems like such a minute, like, yeah, the credit card, like, I don't know. It just feels like that long-term gains that you will get from the property just will be. And then also the market, that there's a whole wrench into it where delaying it 6 months, a lot can happen in 6 months.
Good or bad.
But if in the case that it's bad, you're going to be wishing that you did it 6 months before when you had the cash and were ready to go.
But in case that it's good, it can go either way with the market. You know what I'm saying? And we had that one before too. So put your votes in. Credit card debt use. I think we actually did a podcast on this back in the TH4 days. Yeah, it's like episode 89 or something.
The fact that you even have the number in your head, we'll
have to go back. I'll do this. But put your
yeah, there's someone. Go
ahead. Put your vote in using credit card debt or leveraging the cash that using your credit card can give you in order to actually buy an asset, whether that is a jet, whether that is a real estate property.
See, now you added stuff in there. I said real estate. I didn't
specifically.
Say jet.
All right, my bad. All right. But yeah, go ahead and put your votes in. You're reading a comment, Queen?
Yeah, someone said, by the way, if this is the same person, we can't see the name. So if we know you, feel free to let us know who you are. We could give you a little shout out.
Yeah.
They said this is a sticky one. Credit scores matter if you're looking to buy. True. 10% is better than 30%. And I vote to stay neutral. 2 minutes is not enough for a rebuttal or discussion time.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, we have kind of come to a good compromise, at least in this first property. And I think moving forward, we're just going to look at, all right, how much money is the credit card costing us versus how much can this real estate property get us. If it makes sense, do it. Right? Easy call. All right, last one. And this was not on the list.
I don't know what this one's going to be.
Do not know what this one's going to be. You know, and I think we were coming off of doing 2 very serious ones. So we'll line it back up a little bit. We'll line it back up a little bit. And this one is, who is a better chef? Who's a better?
You really disagree about this?
Who's a better chef, Sinclair?
Y'all, I did not know this was going to be it. I'm sorry to waste your time here.
Who's a better?
You can go ahead and shut off the podcast. It's about done.
Confident.
100%. I'm sorry. This is it. When it comes down to, this is like saying, like, who's better at track and field? Like clearly, because you ran track and field. You trained in track and field.
So you're a trained chef, is what you're saying?
Yes. Every day I go downstairs and make dinner, breakfast, lunch. I am training. I am training. This is practice for the day that I get to show you.
You get to show you.
Because we've always talked about doing a competition.
Yeah.
So we need to probably, when we move into our next spot, have our friends over, and definitely.
Will we cook the same meal or cook different meal?
I don't know, because part of me wants to see. I don't know. We've talked about doing it like kind of like chopped, where like we have the same ingredients, but then we can make whatever we want. Or it can then, it can also be we have to make the same thing, and then, but then there's part of me that's like, we do like see each other cook. So there's part of me, we have the same spices typically. So there's part of me that's like, if we make the same thing, is it going to be different enough?
So here's my thing, Sinclair.
There we go. We didn't even set a timer. We
didn't set a timer. We just going. It's going to be a quick one.
They said same meal.
Same meal. All right. So here's my thing. If it's the same meal, no, because I mean, you can do the same meal, but do it a little bit different. You can use different spices and stuff. So here's my thing. I think you are an amazing chef. Clearly, right? You do your thing, and you are specifically, hands down, way better at following recipes
See, he's
and
about to play me, y'all.
instructions
He's about to play me.
than I am. Can you do your creative thing? Yes. However, I believe that when it comes to innovation within the kitchen, when it comes to outside of the box flavors, combinations, and ideas, I take more risks than you.
You do.
Which don't always pan out.
No, they don't.
One time I cooked something that didn't have baking powder in it. It was some dessert, some cake. It didn't have baking powder. I didn't know it was supposed to.
It was literally sludge.
And you know,
on a baking pan.
It wasn't the best. I'll be real with you. But I've also made some delicious butter chicken, peanut butter chicken, which she had never tried before. Made some delicious garlic jalapeno filet mignon steak. She never tried before, right? So outside the box ideas, we can cook the same meal. Hey, all you need is one. I got two of them things. Right? all I needed was one. But yeah, I think when it comes to outside the box, new flavors, ideas, I might be able to surprise you. I think you'll make something, you'll play it safe. It's gonna be delicious. And then I'll make the same thing, and then be like, oh, that's different. That's where I think I might be able to get you.
And I'm not gonna disagree with you there, because yes, where he is, where I am weak, he is strong, and that is that I do tend to stay in the box a little bit, but try to push the envelope. Yeah, try to push the envelope a little bit, and yeah, it's gonna be good. Like, come on, it's gonna be good. But to his point, he does experiment way more than me. It does not always pan out, and sometimes we disagree on that. There was sometimes like we made it chicken and waffles one day, and I think you were like, okay, I'm gonna do the chicken, and I was like, okay. Which, by the way, I hesitate to do that because I know if I said I'm gonna make something, I'm already agreeing to make the full meal, and I have an expectation of how I want it to be in my head. So when Devon comes and's like, oh, you want me to help? I know that he wants to do it his way. And now I'm risking. And now it's a risk. And now it's really 50-50. Oh, is this chicken going to come out good or not?
Man, that chicken wasn't good?
I do not think that it was better than chicken that I would have made. He put like turmeric and like some other interesting spices, which again is not bad if I was maybe just having the chicken. But like with the chicken and waffles, it just wasn't. It wasn't it for me personally.
Okay, when was this?
It was for one. Was it for my birthday or for your birthday? I don't know. I feel like it was around, or maybe like Valentine's Day. I feel like it was in February time frame.
Gotcha.
And I was just,
You're just like, this ain't it. This ain't it. Yeah. All right. So y'all aren't gonna be able to really vote on this because I mean y'all haven't had our food. Has Jay eaten? No, Jay doesn't. No, so we can't really get any votes on this until we finally have a cook-off. We'll do a little some. We'll show y'all the pictures, show y'all the videos, do a taste test, have some friends, do a blind taste test. That's what you gotta do.
Yes.
Blind taste test.
Also, presentation won't be as a or just mean blind, like you don't know whose is whose.
Yeah, you don't know whose is who. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, well, that's to be determined on who is a better chef.
It's
but the Ask Declare segment. All right, I want to get into it. We're almost done with this episode. Appreciate y'all. A lot of good engagement, a lot of good back and forth. Appreciate the votes. If y'all got any arguments or tipping points in your own relationships or questions you want to ask, feel free to drop it inside of the comments. And of course, make sure you like and subscribe wherever you are watching and listening.
This is Bottle.
What's going on, Bottle? Good to see you. Thank you for voting for the dog. And thank you. I think the vote was for the kids to work in the family. What was the vote on that?
I don't remember. You might have to remind us, Bottle.
Huh.
But he also said sign him up for the blind taste test.
It's good. All right. Last Ask Declare segment. What is something, Sinclair, my queen, my dove,
it's me,
that you are not willing to compromise on? And this is, something that you see in your own personal future as, just Sinclair as a wife, as a mom, something that you see in our family unit, something for me as a husband. But what's something that you were just, Devon,
I got it.
This needs to happen. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I will be traveling the world.
I'll show
period.
Mm-hmm.
So if for some reason right now you're off traveling, I love it. I love traveling with you and going on different adventures and things with you.
I feel like you're about to hit me with something in a second.
However, if for some reason you stopped liking to get on planes, or you were just like, it's not worth it, that long plane ride, I do want to be just fully transparent with you.
You about to get on the plane.
I'm gonna find somebody else to go. Not like that. I'm gonna get one of my girlfriends.
Bottle. What happened?
Not like that.
Jay, she said, if you know, I'm gonna find somebody else.
I'm gonna ask one of my girlfriends. We're gonna make it a girls' trip, and we're gonna go. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go see the place. So I'm just not willing to compromise.
You must not know about me. You must not know about me. I can have another you
in a minute. Matter of fact, she'll be here in a minute.
Goodness.
But anyways, yeah, I'm going on the trip. It is not something I'm willing to compromise on.
You want to travel the world, and what is it about traveling the world that you are not willing to compromise on? Because I think people travel for different reasons. People get different value out of that. So what is it about travel that you're like, Devon, I need this? There's something about seeing the world or something. Like what is it about traveling that you need?
I just feel like it really like unlocks almost like different parts of the brain when you're put into different environments, when you're able to see, because I like to travel for different reasons. I love to go and see like different beaches, different just nature. Like we'll go on hikes and go on tours and just to see the different like rock formations and the colors of the sand. And sometimes it's soft, sometimes it's a little more coarse, sometimes the water is kind of murky, sometimes it's really crystal clear blue.
You have me concerned about these rock formations. Like
I was thinking about, because I do want to go to Sedona. Okay. And that's a place where they have like really beautiful like red rocks and like, so I mean it's rocks. It doesn't sound cool, but I'm excited to go see different form. Anyways, the Grand Canyon, like it's just a canyon. It's just a big old ditch, but it's still really cool to see. But anyways, for the physical sites, but also for the cultures, I just feel like there is. I feel like every time I come back from visiting a new place, I feel a little bit like a different person. And just similar to how we talked about your whole Ghana experience. And I think it's a little bit different, obviously, with you being African American and going back to Africa. But I feel a little bit of that anywhere that I go. Just to be able to learn a new culture, learn a new way of thinking. It adds new perspective onto my life, onto how I exist here in this world. And I just feel like this world is here for us to explore. So yeah, I just feel like I'm doing a disservice by not seeing as much of it as possible while I'm here on this earth.
Okay. I'm good with that.
And food.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be top choice.
I felt like that was the obvious answer, so I wanted to go somewhere else. But yes, obviously I got to try different cuisines of the world. Yes, we're here. We get a lot of folks from all over the world coming here, but there's something about like going to where the origin of pasta is, and pizza and jollof rice, and actually having it from the native soil. I feel like there's a different experience when it comes to that. Your thing that you're not willing to compromise on?
I'm still tripping on. If you're not gonna get on the plane, I'm gonna find somebody else. That
you know what I mean?
That hit. I know you were kidding, but it was still very funny in that moment. I'm going with
on a 4-hour drive home, and you guys helped me so much. Thanks, 5.
Got you. 4 hours. Goodness. Yeah, drive safe, King. So for me, one, I'm definitely love the travel. Very much in line with you on everywhere you go. It's in different frequency, different vibe, and you come back just charged in a different person, 100%. So you have nothing to worry about on that one. For me, something that I'm not willing to compromise on would probably be I'm trying to put it into one specific thing, but my dreams. Right? I think I'm a very purpose-driven person, a very dream-driven person. There are some things I want to do, where in real estate development, in education, in film and creation, and I'm not willing to not do those things. I think I'm willing to compromise on how I achieve those things, right? With the work-life balance, with, okay, for the next 5 years, this is the goal, instead of trying to do all those things. Okay, Devon, you can do that real estate development, but in order to do that, first you need to do this for the family, or you need to travel. down for that. But I don't
need to travel.
Yeah, you need to travel. Because there's gonna be times where maybe it's like, all right, Devon, you can go do this for a month in real estate development, or we can go travel for real estate development. So, all right, well, during this phase of your life, let's make sure we travel, we see the world. You can be looking at architecture, you can be looking at different communities and how they built their real estate, and now you take that back to what you want to build here in America and possibly in other places. But yeah, I feel like I'm not willing to be like, Devon, you can't make a Rose and Rodney animation series. That's done. For some reason, whatever it is, whether it's resources, whether it's time, that's no longer going to happen. That would mess with my soul, right? So yeah, that's kind of straightforward. I just want to be able to chase my dreams, and live my purpose.
Period.
Exclamation point.
I'm just here to support you in that journey, King.
Thanks, Queen. I appreciate it. And see the world together.
And see the world.
Let's do it. So again, those are our 5 kind of little bits of disagreements. Y'all saw it didn't get too spicy on here. A lot of these things we talk about often, even though we don't always come to a agreement on them. They do come up. We talk about them. We'll laugh about it. We'll come to maybe a temporary compromise, and then 6 months later, 9 months later, it comes up again. Then maybe we'll come up with a different compromise. But the point is, we're actively communicating and talking about these things in a healthy way. It's okay to disagree in a marriage, but you need to get to that common ground and be able to communicate with one another. Queen, anything you want to sprinkle on that before we round it out?
No, like you said, I think this is nothing that was said here was the first time either of us are hearing it. So I think
it was the first time I heard that you would just go ahead and hop on a plane.
Oh my gosh.
That was the first time. Oh, also we have, right? So if you're interested in more active communication, if you're interested in learning about your partner's personality and your own personality and your adaptive personality, you want to create your own living principles for your family, you want to learn about how to reduce your taxes as a family, whether you own or don't own a business, you need to tap into the $1 Million Marriage Challenge. All right, this is a challenge that we're doing in November, right around the corner. Our goal is to help 100 married couples get to a net worth of $1 million and have a strong, healthy marriage. So make sure y'all go to $1,000,000marriagechallenge.com. That's $1 million. Got your fingers all up in my beard. That's $1,000,000marriagechallenge.com. And you can join our wait list to be added to the event. It's going to be dope. We got the Married into Crazy, beautiful team coming through. We got Coach T coming through. We got Marjorie from the tax spot coming through. It's going to be dope, y'all. Make sure y'all tap in. And we are doing a pay what you can / pay what you want model, right? Because we understand, the stock market and the industry is industrying right now. The stock market is stock marketing right now. So folks may not have all the resources, but you still may be very serious in investing in your marriage. And we don't want money to get in that way, right? So come through, whether you pay $1, you pay $10, you think it's worth $5,000. You pay whatever you can / whatever you want for the event to get the beautiful value. All right. Queen.
Yes.
Updates for the week before we get out of here.
We are into the last couple weeks here of our Rose and Rodney campaign. So we took the same history of Tulsa's Black Wall Street that we put into Black Wall Street, the board game, and put it into a children's book that we are now turning into an animated series, The Black History Adventures of Rose and Rodney, about 2 siblings, Rose and her little brother, Rodney. They travel back in time and get to experience Tulsa in the heyday, in Black Wall Street heyday. So they're going to be able to learn that history while also being entertained. And I think it's covering a lot of different bases. It's also, showing them some representation of themselves on the TV screen, which we don't see a lot of, especially within the cartoon world. So we're trying to create an 8-episode season, and we need your help. We need your support. So whether you yourself are able to contribute whatever amount you are able to contribute, there are rewards for the contributions, but we also would love for you to share with any families, any adults, anybody who you think would love to see more representation in cartoons and animated series, and we'll love to see Rose and Rodney go to not only Tulsa's Black Wall Street, but they're going to go over all over the world in different kind of Black cities, Black
Yeah.
communities, Seneca Village,
Yep.
Rosewood,
Bronzeville, Molly, Kemet, Allensworth, right? There's been beautiful communities literally all over the world that aren't taught. They're not promoted. They're not marketed. It's not shown to us that we can have beautiful, safe, wealthy, and healthy communities that are Black owned and self-sustaining. That's not a story or a narrative that's been put out there. We want to change that, right? So through the cartoon, through the podcast, through the board game, really trying to uplift Black families and Black wealth. So if you're about that, if you know your friends are about that, you can go to playblackwallstreet.com. Right there on the home screen. You can support the Rose and Rodney campaign right there. Whatever you can contribute would be a blessing. I do want to give a shout out to the Millennial Roundtable event that we tabled at yesterday. Shout out to, what was it? What was the church called? It was like Kingdom Culture Worship Center out in San Bernardino, California. Pastor BJ, we appreciate you. Andrea Eke, we appreciate you. Brother Gordon, David, the whole squad, thank y'all for the opportunity. That po' boy hit.
And those fries.
That po' boy and the fries hit. We're big foodies, so it's good to be able to table, to connect with the Black community, to connect with some young scholars, some folks that wanted to start businesses, folks that already have a business. We met someone from Greenwood, King Jose, right? Someone from Greenwood who's using his story to help inspire educators and students in California now.
And Texas.
So it was just a really good vibe of people. Like I was just like, there's like at least 5 people that I knew there, and I was like, oh, this is a spot. This is a good event. And then we were able to sell some board games, give away some board games, give away some Rose and Rodney books, and of course, eat some good food. So it was a good holistic day. And then we saw Black Adam. We might talk about that on the next episode. I got some things about Black Adam. I got some things. We're gonna end this episode.
We're gonna talk about it. We need to tie it into next week's episode somehow.
Yeah, we're tied into next week somehow. But go see Black Adam so that we can actively have a conversation about it next week on some common ground. But Queen, are you good?
Good.
We're good. I did jinx us. I said that this was going to be a shorter episode. It wasn't at all, but it was a good one. Hopefully y'all got to see a little bit more of the authentic side, the not always agreeing, not always happy-go-lucky side of us, even though we were still cool this whole episode. But make sure, again, you share this podcast with a friend, with the married couple that you want to see win. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them. Wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.